Thank you. Karen, the floor is yours.
Okay. Before the public hearing on Tuesday, as you know from an email that was sent out, we had a spreadsheet and we looked and looked and looked at all of the revenue numbers that would be entailed in both the default and the proposed to try to see if we can get a little bit further on reducing the impact of 2019 budget and warrant articles. No new warrant articles came through petitions. There is no union warrant articles on the ballot this year. At this time, we did not reach an agreement. And that's all I can say at this time.
All right, so nothing will happen then?
No, there will be no non-union, no union raises, no changes in any of their benefits. Their CBA stands where it is, and their benefits will stand where there is. So there's no adjustments on anything related to this.
So nothing's going to happen until next year?
If we reach an agreement and present it at the next town meeting.
The next regularly scheduled?
It would have to be.
It wouldn't be retroactive.
Wouldn't be a special.
It would have to, we would have to have any agreement reached, ratified by the petition date. So our petition date this year was January 8th.
Okay, so nothing can happen.
Nothing's coming this year. It won't be till next year, and if we go through our process again, if we don't reach an agreement, then there wouldn't be anything proposed next year either. So those items, there's no new items to bring up here. In fact, the warrant article that talked about energy efficiencies, that petition was not received on time. It was 4 days late, so we couldn't even include that into our warrant. So the items that did change since the last time that you looked at the spreadsheet, we have got a little bit more revenues under the proposed budget, which changes the effect of the tax rate impact, to $7.133 per thousand. The other item that was through the warrant article writing process and working with DRA, number 23, the Police Department Expandable Trust Fund. That is, the funds are going to be taken from whatever's left of 2018's budget. So it's basically coming from fund balance. It's $1,000. So there's no tax impact for that. The other item, the Conservation Commission was in here for $111. They had a final bill in 2018 that came to us, and it was for $100. So that's reduced to $11. So all of the reductions make the tax impact, if all of the warrant articles pass, including the proposed budget, it will be 40 cents per thousand. If the default budget is what passes, with all of the warrant articles, the difference is 27 cents. So the difference between the default budget and the proposed budget is 13 cents per thousand.
Question, the $50,000 that Select Board approved recently for the business study, where is that?
That is called encumbered. That is, it's set aside, it is not something that
2018.
Oh, it's
2018 encumbered, so that it's held, its money's held,
Okay.
that will be paid out
So it's
for
being carried
that.
over.
There's a remaining amount in the legal.
Yeah, okay. Now, is that a 3-year?
It's a 1 year.
1 year?
And if you want the most current budget that was handed out at the public hearing, you're welcome to it. If there's some left in the box, They do have, it's color coded, so you can see a majority, this one is not, this one has gray, but it is color coded so you can see the increases and decreases in the budget. There's also some other handouts in there of summaries.
These are the ones, I have a bunch here, if anybody wants.
The thicker one, this
Oh, the
43
thicker one.
pages is in there. So anyone wanting that. That is a summary, which I need to update a little bit more, but that's a summary of the difference between the last year's budget and the default. And then a difference, if you look at the next few pages, of what the proposed is compared to the default. So you have kind of a quick summary in 4 pages.
Yeah, so no major changes, just basically tweaking here and tweaking there.
Yes,
Question on the petition articles.
yes.
Should we reconsider Caleb? The select board voted completely against it because it didn't provide financials. Have they even,
They did provide a
appearance?
petition warrant article, but they did not provide financials.
did they make a presentation?
Yes.
They did?
I don't remember.
No, Caleb never came.
No, no.
Yeah, they did.
They made a presentation.
Wasn't their director sick and they had an interim?
That was somebody, that was
Oh, that's
somebody else.
Pathways.
Yeah, Diane, do you remember if Caleb caregivers, did they ever schedule with you to come?
No, they never
Okay.
did.
I was thinking
And I
wrong.
talked to Steele about it too, and she hadn't heard anything back from them.
The votes on what was taken by the budget committee was presented at the public hearing. Doesn't mean that you can't change it, but I have to post whatever you decide to do on the 28th of January.
Did
Just a
we
question,
actually
not a
vote,
recommendation.
Heather, did we actually vote on it?
Yes.
We voted on them all as a group.
Yeah.
All at one time.
But now
Oh,
here, this
oh,
one
yes.
group, sorry Diane, what were you saying?
Oh, I think, I didn't remember including Caleb in there, in the total vote, but.
I can look back at my notes right now.
I don't know if, I mean, we can re-vote on that. I just didn't remember that we included them in the total, you know, we did it all at once, and I didn't think we included them, but I could be wrong. Heather probably recalls better than I do.
She's
So-
doing her electrical scan as we speak.
The selectmen did not support the warrant article
Okay,
for Caleb.
yeah,
That's why I brought it up.
yeah. Can we change our vote?
As far as I know, you can, yes. How it's recorded when I post the budget, it will be recorded in that budget, financial that I have to post, as the selectmen not recommending it. So it's actually taken out of the number.
Suddenly,
Yeah.
And the reason they didn't recommend is because they didn't get the information they had requested.
correct.
Correct.
We did approve all petition warrant articles by nonprofits.
And that was one of them, or that was part of the,
It was on the list.
Yeah.
It was on the list, so it was
Yeah.
one.
Maybe-
$0 values. So we approved $0 values, right?
I believe it was on the list as
It
$2,000.
is
Oh, it was,
$2,000.
that's right, it was on their list of $2,000, but they just hadn't come forward yet.
yeah.
Well, it certainly would be, it's just not, word's not fair, it's just not proper protocol that the others have presented their finances, they have spoken to us, we've asked them questions, but for some reason Caleb has not done that. And I think it's only appropriate that they not be considered at this time. So make that motion.
Second.
Second. Okay, motion made by Mel and seconded by Ed. Basically, the motion is to change our vote
Yes.
to, or to take,
To revote.
to revote,
another
okay,
revote, right.
take a revote. Okay, so All those in favor of re-voting on the Caleb caregivers petition warrant articles, please say aye.
Aye.
Is that a unanimous? Yeah, sorry, so that's, okay, that's 7-0 in favor of re-voting on it. Okay, so now I'm gonna say, all those in favor of supporting the $2,000 request by Caleb caregivers, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
Diane?
Nay.
Nay,
Yeah.
okay, so, okay.
Aye.
Nay. Okay, so, actually, but it won't be 8, it won't be 08, Karen will be 07, because Michael isn't here.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and like Mel said, it's nothing, again, other than if we're gonna require that everybody submit.
It's not fair that people made an effort to do
Yeah,
all
that's
of
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Karen?
No.
Andrews, anything else?
Nothing else.
You sure?
Oh, yeah.
How's the Novocaine doing?
No, it's starting to wear off.
Your upper lip and lower lip are moving in sync?
Yeah, I think they are.
Is that all our business now?
I have a question, because I always try to critique what I'm doing. I want to know, is there any recommendations? And has everybody been satisfied with the information provided to them?
If you can condense it into about 2 meetings, Karen, that'd be just fine.
Yeah,
But other than that,
12-hour meetings.
thank you very much. No.
And I'd like for the record that we I thank Andrew and Karen and the department heads for the work they've done and how they have reduced their budgets, reduced the figures in the warrant articles, so that the town taxpayers will have less of a burden when they come face the school budget. Thank you all very much.
Yes, thank you.
And with a smile.
The only comment is if the selectmen and the guys can get together and come up with a realistic budget the first time, we don't have to change it at every meeting.
Yeah.
It doesn't get changed
Yeah.
and reduced and changed and
Yeah.
reduced. They should be looking at a realistic budget the first time they present to us.
Although that kind of morphs from year to
It
year. I mean, you know, sometimes I think we ask the department heads to present a little bit more of their vision. Sometimes there's some years where we already know we have significant challenges that, you know, sometimes they're asked to, I guess there's no one scenario like that fits all. I mean, I think it kind of has to vary a little bit, Rob. You've always a good point, but I think sometimes you just want to at least hear from them and have a sense of what they're thinking. It might not happen that year, but maybe 5 years down the road or something, you know, that'll happen. I mean, obviously, like last year, you know, Joe DePalma had that presentation on the 10-wheeler dump truck, which didn't end up passing, but something that we're probably still going to look at next year, because I mean, it's probably worth trying that one to see. I mean, and for 2 good points. One was, you know, he made a very good argument for it, and I was kind of surprised that it didn't pass, but there's 2 strong points to that. 3 strong points. One, it's not that much more expensive than a 6-wheeler. I mean, I think maybe $15,000 or something like that. The possibility of being able to do longer runs so you have less downtime coming back to reload. And then the third thing, kind of the hidden gem is that at the end, your likelihood of being able to sell a good used 10-wheeler dump truck is way greater than selling a 6-wheeler.
Plus you can get down the hill, up the hill, there was a question there.
You know, probably at the end of the day, you'll end up getting back your original investment when you sell it. So
Yeah, they're cheaper. After a 6-year period, a 10-wheeler's a lot cheaper than a 6-wheeler.
And I want to respond to Ralph's point.
Yeah.
A lot of times, when we're making up the budget, we may not have the numbers on health insurance. We may not have the numbers on property liability. We might have an estimate that's given to us that it's going to be a 3% increase. We may have an estimate that it might be a decrease. And we have to tweak it as we go. Plus, there might be something that it's decided by the town manager and the department head working together that they don't necessarily need it that year. Or something has come up. There is emergencies that always seem to come up that people don't realize. Something and then this is an example here in the Opera House. We're having a little bit of problem with our thermostats. I know that's tiny, but it is something that comes up that we need to deal with. So, and that's a small
Just
thing.
just a nice thought.
Yeah.
It's a lot less than what it used to be. I remember in 2007, there was some big budgets that came through.
Karen and Andrew, thank you so much for all the help that you've given me to get the information out to the rest of the budget committee. And I appreciate the budget committee members being so patient with me getting the information out to them. But thank you. It was, you know, you always make it easier than what it could be. And I thank you for that. Also, I think this year we struggled at the very beginning with finding out what our tax base would actually be valued at. We didn't set the tax rate for a long time, and so we kind of entered into the budget process without that information. And maybe for next year, one of the things that the budget committee could consider is really setting some guidelines. And I understand what Steve is saying, let's hear it all, but it is difficult to go back in and cut. So there's a, you know, kind of a compromise between the two approaches to kind of give some guidance, but also to hear what is needed. So we can just start thinking now about what are some of the things that we can change in the process for next year to make it easier for everybody. And I thank all the budget committee members and you, Steve, for guiding us to another budget season. Thank you.
Okay. Well, and Diane, I want to thank you. Diane supported a lot of the structure for this year's, season. I mean, as far as getting stuff out or whatever. And obviously, thank you to Heather for doing those minutes, which are time-consuming but also indispensable. So.
Definitely. Thank you, Heather.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
So this is our last meeting.
And unless after the deliberative session, Andrew, there was anything that you needed to get us back together for, right? If there was a question, right? That'd be about.
My wife's gonna be happy.
Okay. Yeah. But following up on the school thing, and Diane, I think that was a good idea to take the vote, because we know sometimes things can kind of get, forgotten or set aside, if you would. But I think that as we've discussed this, and Mel, with all due respect to you, I certainly didn't want to be shooting down your recommendation, because it is long overdue. But to be productive moving forward, and based on Ralph's experience with his committee this year or whatever, I think if a good group, good cross-section of the community get together to look at that and give the school board some direction. As I said before, we've never done it on the cheap, and we still aren't doing it on the cheap. But we want to be effective, and if we're going to sell a new school to Littleton, the more we can have our house in order and then feel that we're addressing our structure internally and using our dollars effectively, we're going to have a better chance of that. So, okay. All right, well, I thank you very much, Diane. We're going to let you, Andrew's going to sign you off, and you say, give our best to Tom, and enjoy your walks on the beach.
And thank you, Steve and Diane, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your time. Quite a bit.
Our last meeting,
Thanks for all your volunteer time.